When am I going to see it? That's the question.
Soon.
How soon?
Soon. I guess we're live.
We are.
Strong start today, guys.
Simon says, when will soon be now?
When will now
we
be?
Are.
Then be now. Soon.
Mm-hmm. Sanity says, live AF. Hey, Tekin.
What's up, everybody? Good evening.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
Love me some Wednesdays. We are
okay.
Solid.
Solid.
We're so very talkative this evening.
Yeah. All right. So it's going so well. I say let's get the show started. Welcome, everyone, to Gamers Week Podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, worst, and weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 174, and today is Wednesday, July 16, 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. My name is Blue Williams, and I'll be your host for this evening. But as you can see, I am not alone. I do have two fine co-hosts. My first co-host wants you to know that he's never heard of your favorite band because he's far too young and cool and trendy to know what you old geezers are talking about, and he's flexing about it as we speak. Please say hello to Ryan Payne, aka Retro Game Brews.
I'm doing both of you a service by being here so that I'm the cool hip one, right? And you guys are, signing up for AARP, so good for you. Hopefully I'll get some of the discounts maybe when we go to breakfast. You guys will let me have some of the senior discount plate.
No, you can go fuck yourself. You got to pay full price for your shit. Well, we're getting a discounted Grand Slam at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Wait. Don't lump me in with the discounted Grand Slam here.
Zach, you're right. I thought he was going to pause when he said that. I was like, I'm doing both of you. I thought he was going to pause, but he did not. A favor.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
And my second co-host spent his birthday in nothing but a trench coat and his new strappy open cup bra and panty set, and he's never felt more beautiful. Please say hello to the one and only Donnie G.
Okay. Why do you feel the need to air my private stuff out for everybody? When that's a part of me.
Celebrating this with you.
I don't want a lot of people to see. They have to pay to see that. Okay.
You kept opening the trench coat, so that kind of contradicts what you were just saying about nobody wanting to see.
Who wears a trench coat nowadays? So Sanity says Ryan is a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity guy. Blue is definitely a moons over Miami gal. Where does that leave me? What am I?
I think he's typing.
Give him a second. He'll catch up. I have to actually Google real fast. What is a moons over my hammy?
Oh, it's like scrambled eggs over on ham on like toast, like toasted bread with cheese.
Can I just say something though, just real quick?
Sure.
When you said the date, you said July 16, 2025. Why wasn't there a 16th in there? What was the
This is really what we're starting off with.
I'm just saying, it was a pet peeve and I had to address it.
If you must know, I spend quite a lot of my workday speaking
Bastards.
to automated voice answering systems. And so they're like, please state the date you are calling about. And then if I say July 16th, there's an increased probability that the system will fuck it up. So
at least you had a logical explanation. I just figured you were going to go with that. This is how I say it. Kudos.
No, I have taken to being extremely specific when I say my numbers. 16.
And just really quick, Simon, thank you very much for clipping that that little video. We do appreciate, and that's something that we kind of wanted to ask everybody that's in the chat. If you see something that you think is funny while we're doing this, please feel free to clip anything and everything that you can. We'd like to put some of these clips out on like TikTok or social media just to spin up a little bit more hype and kind of get more people in here. So have at it. Feel free. We love it when you guys do that.
And when he says if you see something funny, he means besides Ryan's face.
Oh, hi-yo!
Wow. Wow. So that's how this episode's going to go. Okay.
June
Okay.
16th, huh?
Or Blue's Taste in Movies.
Oh, I wasn't targeting you, but
I got your back,
okay.
Ryan. I got your back.
What the hell?
It's my boy.
Okay. Want to start your own podcast? Maybe about Scream Cream Ice Cream Parlor, where guests love every lick. You'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, great analytics, and resources to help you grow your audience. Use the link in the description to get a $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. And let's move on to our reviews, reactions, and requests. Retro Gaming Dev says, I feel like Game Pass isn't necessarily the problem. It's the number of gigantic AAA games being created. It isn't sustainable for every company to be developing a game for 5 to 7 years with teams of hundreds and then release it on Game Pass. So by my logic, maybe Game Pass is the problem. Basically, I think the industry has a problem regardless of Game Pass.
We have come.
I love the backtrack and the logic. It was a journey.
Right.
So thank you.
The wheels are turning. You can feel it. Sleep is for Tea says Game Pass is one of the best innovations in gaming, sustainable and a great value, both IMO. It's not the solution, but may not fully fund most studios by itself, but it's a large and important part of any solution. The ire against Game Pass is misplaced.
And I think from a consumer point of view, I 100% agree. The one thing I would disagree with is that it is sustainable. That is the only thing.
Well, that's part of the problem is nobody knows because they won't say.
Right. Because they keep having that infinite money loop throwing it out by Microsoft.
And then finally, and most importantly, Team Rails says storing chewed gum in your water bottle is 100,000% sociopath behavior.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, Donnie, I put it out on social media and there was not one person who spoke up in your defense saying this is okay. Everyone was horrified.
Ask me if I give a shit. Because I don't. I've been doing this since I was a kid. And some of the things I read was like, oh my God, you put your gum in your water bottle and then you drink your bacteria. Well, guess what? The gum is already in your mouth. You're drinking water. You're drinking your bacteria down. What do you want me to do? Your logic is flawed.
These seem like the kind of arguments a sociopath would make. But what do I know?
I
had my evening with some Fiji water and a nice big league chew.
No, seriously, I don't hate anybody for their opinion. I just do me, and there you go. Donnie drinks his own pee, confirmed. If I'm in the desert and I need a quick drink and I don't have any water, sure, I might, lay down and pull my legs back and take a drink. But
he's thirsty, but he's still flexible. I like that.
That's what I was gonna say. I did not expect that methodology, but I respect it.
Don, what are you doing? Stretching. Gotta be limber.
Deacon85 says, I've been a sociopath for 40 years. I'm not going to change now.
All right, let's move on to our patron shoutouts.
All right, well, we couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. Fruitcakes, I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted pickle pepper. God, that's a tough one to start with. Ducks with Fit Thighs, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Bobson Dugnut, Blues Little Sis, Loud Moth, Retro Blast Pat, B&T Zilla Guy, The Mad Milkman, Heaven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, Snacks, The Handsome Chef, Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steven Sand, Ramboski, Terry Kinnair, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over, Games of Coffee, Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, Davey PGH, The Pixel Pond Family, including Shanna and Luke, Zach, a.k.o. Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number One Blue Sixth Voice Fan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evil Lust, Rai Wants This Boy's Soul, Mega Retro Man, Gamatroid, Mora Deeb, Michael, you got a lot of nerve showing your face around here, Hauser, looking like, look who's talking. Like kite.
Total recall for the win.
Yeah. EMOS, Bill Tucker, and you know the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You also get access to our bi-weekly, but on hiatus until August, Patreon-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut Patrons with Benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes.
You pause there. You get access to our bi-weekly butt. Like our bi-weekly butt? What?
That's along with I'm doing you both.
Yeah.
Same energy.
Should like connect those together.
Yeah. Splice them.
That's a lot of extra editing, though. I don't know if I'm in for that. All right, let's move on to the headlines.
This headline segment is proudly sponsored by absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, starting with, my screen just went blank, hang on a second, starting with deep dives into every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. In Ghostbusters 2, the paranormal investigators are able to pilot the Statue of Liberty, animated by slime charged with positive emotions, using what modified video game console controller? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes. And I know the answer to this one.
And so do I.
Ryan, would you like to go first?
It is the NES Advantage. Dottie's going to pull one out.
You are correct. It is the NES Advantage, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look at that joystick. Look at how stiff it is. Yeah.
Oh, so stiff.
See, and I, when Zach posed the question, I didn't know it. I guessed the Power Glove, although I clarified it with, I feel like I would remember that if that was the right answer, but I only saw the movie once because it sucked.
You've only seen number 2 once. Somebody clip that. Terrible movie. Oh my God. Her opinions are awful.
But Zach agreed with me, and so we both commiserated. We had a conversation about how we couldn't voice our opinions because we would be flogged for doing so, and see that's happening.
Some
just
people
as
like
we
that.
predicted.
Zach, I'm judging you. Just want to let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can understand people who say like, oh, it's so much, it's not better than the original Ghostbusters, or it's a step down from the original Ghostbusters. I actually loved it. I was, I think, 11 years old when I saw that movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I still think it's a fun movie. There's nothing wrong with Ghostbusters 2. A great soundtrack as well by Bobby Brown.
Charged with positive emotions. I'm waiting for the justification here.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, there is a little bit of, but you're watching a Ghostbusters movie. All right. They use proton packs. So there's a lot of suspension of disbelief. Apparently positive emotions just the bridge too far for you. And I think the rest
I'm
of us
okay
just
with
enjoyed the ride.
Pseudoscience. Go ahead, as long as it's consistent within the world building. But when we go beyond pseudoscience into positive emotions, I was like, okay, you lost me.
You were probably a fan of the negative emotions fueling the slime and making everything dark and bad, right?
Those are far more realistic.
It's just the other fucking side of the coin. So there you go. It's virtually a
Goth
podcast.
slime.
Yeah. It's virtually a podcast. Says Ghostbusters 2 is my favorite, and you know what? High five for that one.
There we go.
Pacific. No. Pacific Rim was not awesome.
I didn't see Pacific Rim, but yeah, Zach, Haters Week forever.
Or its counterpart, Pacific Rim Job.
More people saw that, I'm pretty sure. All right, let's get into the week's headlines. Valve has introduced a new and worryingly vague guidelines aimed at the adult-only game development community, forbidding content that may, quote, violate the rules and standards set by credit card companies, internet network providers, and more. It's not precisely clear when Valve introduced this latest rule stipulating what developers shouldn't publish on Steam, but appears to have been added sometime in the last couple of months. So what's now banned from the platform? According to Valve, content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by its payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet providers. Banks have long been skittish about providing services to businesses where sex and adult entertainment may be a factor, but their inconsistency has proven a challenge for business owners, which might be where Valve's own decision to err on the side of vagueness was born. The vagueness of Valve's wording means confusion and concern among adult content developers is likely to intensify as they grapple with the reality that financial institutions may now be the ultimate arbiters of ever changing acceptability on Steam. And some have expressed concern that this new authority may start impacting the availability of LGBTQIA plus content as corporations buckle to appease the US government's continuing attack on queer rights. YouTuber Noah Fuel Gaming perhaps summarizes it best on their social media post. Banks like Visa and MasterCard are now backdoor moral authorities. They already pressured Patreon, OnlyFans, and others to remove not suitable for work content. Now Steam is next. Queer content gets flagged as explicit even when it's PG. If banks raise a fuss, they'll nuke anything that could be controversial, and they'll say it's out of our hands. Corporate cowardice in action. Valve hasn't yet publicly addressed its new policy.
So we're letting banks decide on what's decent when I can go to a strip club and use my credit card to get a cash advance to pay this stripper for a lap dance? And they're going to tell me...
I was just saying, it sounds like someone's had experience. I'm just
Well, once or twice. Okay, once or twice. But that service fee, man, that's ridiculous.
A fee for service. I like it. So Sanity said Ryan's hentai game collection, which I think we've said both mine and Blue's hentai.
I don't have a hentai game collection.
I'm sorry, you just consume the media. You don't actually play the game, so
only when it's free.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you though, can I transfer those games into someone else's library? Can I sell these?
No, I don't think so.
Steam decided you could not. Yeah, unfortunately.
Which, doesn't that kind of suck though? Because I mean, you're able to buy it from them, so why shouldn't you be able to turn around and at least make a profit on a game that you own, that you bought from them, but maybe you can't sell it at, a specific price. You have to sell it for less than what you bought it for at the Steam price.
Sell it back to Steam.
I mean, you should be able to sell it for whatever somebody's willing to pay for it.
True.
But yeah, this is as Noah Fuel says, backdoor moral authorities. I doubt that Visa and MasterCard would enjoy being called out about their backdoors, but it is correct. This stuff is not illegal. It is fully legal. And yet you have people willing to say, you can't sell this stuff because someone somewhere is upset, and the money speaks more than the laws ever will. And on what planet is that justified?
And the targets they said previously were Patreon, OnlyFans, and others are just those two to remove not safe for work content. But you can go on any major porn producer's website and use your credit card. In fact, if I think I've heard, some of them won't even accept any other currency besides your credit card. So you can't use your PayPal or something like that. You have to use credit card. So if that's the case, why is it that they have the right then to limit some other platforms' use of adult content? I mean, if it's illegal, so it's for example, we'll say child pornography or something like that, I totally get that. They don't want to be associated with that. And to be honest with you, that's more on Steam than it is on anyone else. And I would imagine Steam has a lot of guidelines when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, and previously Steam has said we'll allow anything if it's not illegal.
Right.
And then this is a big old backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
From we'll allow anything that's not illegal to you shouldn't publish anything that might be objectionable to literally anyone.
And I think the kind of pressure that they're getting is from the credit card companies and the, like they say, internet service providers. Are you kidding me? You're going to let internet service providers should have no bearing on what you view if you're an adult. Like you're not the government. You're not. That's it. You're just, you provide a pathway to a freaking server. That's it. That's your job. Your job is not to police the internet. Your job is to get me where I need to go. And it's the government's responsibility if they deem that somebody is putting something out there that's illegal, or I dare I say immoral, because you've got certain states that have clauses where you have to be, I mean, obviously you want people to be of age to look at this stuff. And now that they're starting to institute age verification for viewing pornography websites and whatnot, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem for verifying an age. But if they start to track you and say, well, you watch this stuff, and no, you can't. We've got a list here that you can't apply for this job because you viewed this kind of porn. And people are like, oh, good Lord.
Oh,
We
no,
do
there's
not
a-
hire anyone who watches Brazilian fart porn. I'm sorry, we just
Bastards.
Yeah, the owner of the company majorly kink shames. Sorry.
You're right.
But
or he hires you because of the stuff you do like. I think that's worse.
oh, that's possible.
So I heard you're also into armpits.
Then he
The
says, this is
hairier
why
the
I'm
better,
unemployed.
sir. Does that give me a job?
We'll talk about it.
But I think you're probably onto something, because if anything, I imagine that the justification behind these kinds of restrictions is, well, this could be accessed by children. And the ability to verify age is still real iffy, because we've talked about before, most adult sites online, all you have to do is type in your birth date, which is any child who can do math can go ahead and get past that. But then
Mhm.
you have states like mine who said, well, because we can't guarantee that kids aren't going to do it, well, then nobody can access it. And that seems to be the approach that's going on, is that nobody gets to do this stuff just to make sure that no child gets to do this stuff. And it's a nuke it from orbit strategy that I think, while maybe well intentioned, though I kind of doubt it, because I still feel like that this is a secret moral battle that's going on just to stop things that should be perfectly legal among adults. But
The
I mean, that's what we're dealing with.
libertarian side of my brain goes, why do you care what I do in the comfort of my own home?
Because
Why?
it's wrong. Because
Yeah.
it's wrong, Ryan. And
My
you're
door
wrong.
is
And you should feel
closed.
bad.
I don't. But that's the thing, is I really
Yeah.
fucking don't. You know? And as far as I'm concerned, again, I'm a consenting adult. And if I decide to view content from other consenting adults, or a publisher that makes a game about consenting adults that's not even real, let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
then who fucking cares? Why?
Because,
And if,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I would say, if it's about the children thing, there's better ways to do this.
Because we
But
have
you're
to
gonna
set a moral standard. We have to
Mhm.
set a moral standard for the children. And I have to tell you that this is wrong. All the while I'm downloading an app and I'm hooking up with somebody behind my constituent's back and telling them, hey, this is wrong. But
Yeah. Don't strain your neck.
Sanity said, visiting cakefarts.com is Ryan's business alone.
well, what's funny, Simon Ashtier says, even before the internet, kids could still get their hands on age and appropriate stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes, they could. And this is something that I experienced as a child, and I had a talk with my oldest son about that. Is we didn't have the internet back in the 80s, and it was printed material, or it was video cassettes and whatnot, and you really couldn't get that unless like your parents had it, or you like knew a friend whose parents had it and stuff like that, or you found it out in the woods, or yada yada yada. So it was a little bit tougher to come by that stuff, whereas now all you have to do is pick up one of these and type it in, and you go on any device that has internet capabilities, and it's there. It's right in front of your face.
There's a reason that it is, though. Let's be honest. Because adults like that stuff. We do. And it's okay. And at the end of the day, if it's not harming anyone, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But you as a parent, and you alone should really, in my opinion, be the ones who decide what content your children watch.
100%.
Be an active participant in their experience with the internet, right? And so at the end of the day, I don't think it's the responsibility of a government to police this kind of stuff.
Hmm. Like Simon Asher says, Steam has parental controls
Hmm.
already.
Look at that.
So, I mean, honestly, it's a flimsy argument at best, and it's going to impact the livelihoods of an entire industry
Hmm.
of people making this type of content. But, as long as the conservatives are happy, then whatever. They're not happy unless the rest of us are unhappy. So,
Right.
No, no. They're not happy unless we're unhappy too, because they're not
fair.
watching it. So
Fair. Oh, no, they are. They are. They just feel way worse about it than we do.
and it brought up an interesting point here too, that this is a slippery slope. Like, what's the next step? If it's adult content, what's the next step? Like it said, it could be LGBTQ queer content. It could be things that are anti-religious content or what have you. Like that's a frightening slippery slope. I don't usually like to bring up the slippery slope argument, but I just want to know where it ends. You know?
Right. And we already
That's
have
the
a
thing
government
about
that's
slippery
trying.
slopes, is they don't end.
No. You already have a government that's trying to cram religion down your throat and saying, "Oh, this is the religion of the United States," and yeah, that's the last thing I need.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
All right, next up, following the Federal Bureau of Investigation's widely reported seizure of pirate ROM site NSW2U.com last week, the U.S. government agency has confirmed the move was part of an operation that impacted multiple targets. In a statement shared on its website, the FBI announced the seizure of several online criminal marketplaces that it said had, for more than 4 years, provided video games days or weeks before their official release date. It also claimed these websites had seen cumulative downloads of 3.2 million in just 3 months this year, from 28th of February to May 28th, resulting in an estimated loss of $170 million. On top of NSW2U's closure, the FBI says its investigation, performed with the assistance of the Fiscal Information and Investigation Service in the Netherlands, had additionally resulted in authorization to seize the domain of multiple other sites, including nswdl.com, game2u.com, bigandgame.com, ps4package.com, ps4package.net, and mgnetu.com. These domains hosted and facilitated access to the pirated video games, it continued. Anyone visiting these sites will now view a seizure banner that notifies them the domain has been seized by federal authorities. The FBI's operation is just the latest move in an ongoing crackdown against video game piracy. Earlier this year, Nintendo won a legal battle against French file sharing company D-Storage, meaning European file sharing companies must now remove illegal copies of games when asked to do so. It also successfully shut down Switch emulator Yuzu last year after claiming the software facilitated piracy at a colossal scale.
Were you laughing at the D in
No. Mm-mm.
what were we laughing at?
Definitely not D storage. I mean, where else would you store the D? I don't know.
Well, there are several different repositories where you can store it.
I was gonna go with receptacle, but repositories work as well.
Case with Coffee says she was.
Also, kudos for getting all of those like almost acronym video game websites that we got here. So yeah, round of applause.
Thank you. It's a fringe talent, but I'll take it. Has the FBI ever gotten involved in ROMs before?
Not to
think
my knowledge.
So I thought they have. I mean, it's pretty much
Like Nintendo is cracked down on stuff.
Yeah, but usually it consists of a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't have the authority to shut down a website or seize a website. So
right.
I'm pretty sure they have gotten involved at some point. You know, it depending on um, just how much, what's the word I'm looking for, noise a site is making, or they're getting
Hmm.
noise or complaints from other companies like Nintendo saying, hey, this site has so many different of these illegal games and whatnot. Because I'm pretty sure, you know, the underground people in the video game world that know about these sites, all the major publishers and developers know people that know about these sites as well. So they're keeping track and saying, "Oh, our game is listed on this. We need to shut this down. We're going to submit a federal a complaint to the federal government. If it's the FTC commission, if it's whatever department that's there, then they turn it over to the FBI and then they shut it down."
I did a quick Google search and I cannot find anything prior to a week ago about the FBI ever getting involved in taking down a ROM site. I just found a bunch of articles. Like, for example, Nintendo is now enlisting the FBI to do their dirty work so they don't have to pay their lawyers. You can get pressure the US government to shut down these sites, saves them a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, because they're going to send a cease and desist letter, and that the people who own the website may or may not comply with it. Right? They'll be like, "Ah, screw you. Yeah, you can't touch us. We're anonymous. You can't touch us." And then the federal government comes in. It's like, "Oh, bam, you're banned."
Genuinely surprised that these are regular websites and not dark web sites, like, utilizing a browser like Tor or something. Um,
Mm. Puzzle Better says, I think the FBI raided my college for BitTorrent stuff back in the day. I
really,
feel like they have been doing stuff like this, if not for ROM sites.
just reminded of the IT crowd thing. Like, would you steal a car? Would you shoot a policeman? Would you steal his helmet and take a dump in it? Would you send that policeman's helmet to his mourning wife and then steal it again? No. Downloading illegal movies is like stealing.
I
But
mean, getting
go
the
ahead.
FBI involved, that's big guns.
It is. And I'm curious. So it said something about being based in the Netherlands. So is this outside the U.S. as well? Okay.
Yeah, they partnered with this Dutch agency.
Hmm. So where are these servers being housed? Is the question. Do they have the jurisdiction?
That's the
I
other
mean, the
question.
FBI. Yeah, the FBI can certainly, if there's money involved that's coming to the U.S., they can certainly get involved. But very, very curious because that requires a huge investigation if it's international versus domestic. So to your point, big guns, big money spent by the government to take care of this. And I'll be honest, I mean, we've talked about this before. If it's current gen stuff, I don't mind them going after people who are pirating
Of
stuff.
course.
Yeah, but it's a whole different level when you're getting the FBI involved
Do you think
versus
they're going to
just
go
lawyers.
after like Pirate Bay and take that down, and then you won't be able to get your Sega Saturn ROMs anymore? Is that what you're concerned with?
It'll pop back up. If they shut down one site,
Mm-hmm.
somebody like in a week, less than a week, somebody up will spin up another server and say, "Here you go, secret,
Yeah.
secret information to everybody else here. Don't tell anybody." That'll get passed around like wildfire. Hey, it's another server with all these different ROMs and videos and all this stuff.
It's the problem is when you try to make money off of it.
Yeah.
That seems to piss people off. Anything else? They're like, fuck it, right?
Mm, I don't know. I think even if you do it for free,
I
Nintendo
think
would like to squash you.
Nintendo would. Yes, I just don't know if the authorities care if you're giving away content for free.
That depends on how much you've bribed them with.
That is true.
Because I seriously don't see why any government agency would really need to get involved in this otherwise.
And at the end of the day, is it said it lost revenue for Nintendo or whatever of $170 million.
Estimated.
Estimate,
Estimated.
sure.
But I mean, when people are, if you're downloading ROMs, you're like, sure, give me all 120 ROMs. You wouldn't buy that much. You would buy maybe
No,
one game.
you're right.
So I think those estimated loss of revenue numbers are complete nonsense?
I think it's because they try to attach some sort of monetary value to each game and say, well, if you're making it for free, then it has the potential to be purchased. So in theory, it is a loss for them, which, I mean, like you said, it's complete bullshit because nobody's gonna spend money on the Rocketeer for the NES.
No. And that's the
They're
thing
not.
is, it doesn't say that they were selling current games, just that they were selling, ROMs.
Well, it said here that a lot of them were before their official release date.
Yeah.
So they got to be newer stuff, right? Or at least I would imagine majority of them are, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
again, huge issue. Wonder where they're getting the ROMs. That's the other question.
Hmm.
Is it where people who are getting those press copies are sending it off to their friends and then letting them download it? Because somebody's got to be able to get the information to these folks to sell this weeks in advance.
Well, again, even if you're doing that, you're violating an NDA.
Right. You are
That's not
that.
the FBI's business.
Well, what I'm saying though is if you want to take care of these ROM sites to prevent them from being able to get those, find out where the source is coming from and you cut off the entire supply chain for those.
Right.
It could be a jilted employee, that's in
Could
the
be.
crunch, and he's like, you know what, I'm not going to see any extra money from this. You know what? Screw these guys. Here you go. Here's the ISO file.
And then they get slapped with a grand larceny charge of $170 million
Yeah.
because they got all those downloads. So
Well,
True. They are
Sanity's
probably
just
looking for Gary Bowser 2.0 to make an example of, even though it
exactly.
doesn't seem to have worked.
Sanity makes a good point. The press copies are digitally marked to know who got which advanced copy. So if
So
they're able
definitely
to
have
do
the
some
press
sort of
ones.
forensics and like, okay, well, it came from this press copy. This person was given this press copy. There you go. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that person was responsible for releasing this information. It could have been stolen from that person.
It's funny that you say that. You said same with SAG, so I'm assuming SAG after the Screen Actors Guild. The ones that they do like the limited release ones, I've seen pirated movies that say SAG or whatever, and then it's got like the something it says, please do not send this out to anybody, and it's the entire bottom of the movie. So those even get out though.
Well, I guess they
Please.
weren't happy with their $8.47 royalty checks. Nice one, Simon.
Yeah,
Do you guys mind if we take a 2-minute break?
that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to refill my water
Be
bottle
right
anyway.
back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Or we could just, go on break.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't have to talk to
We'll
each
be right
other.
back.
I'm back. Thank you.
We're back.
If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the CD.
And that's a lesson for all of you.
It's like I just had a fart. I had to go outside.
What did you think of South of Midnight GoldenEye? I'm still needing that to be ported to not Xbox so I can play it.
Are you not an Xbox household?
I'm not an Xbox household. Friggin' $600 consoles. We buy one.
Fair enough.
All right, next up. The director of the upcoming Resident Evil movie has discussed his vision for the adaptation, including plans to shift away from the source material in some ways, and is expecting online hate because of it. In the new issue of SFX magazine, Zach Kreger said he isn't aiming to be completely obedient to the lore of the games with the film. He didn't elaborate on the specifics of what changes he might make, but Kreger said he isn't planning to break any major rules of the franchise. He also assured fans that he is a gigantic Resident Evil game fan, adding that he's played every entry in the series and has a specific fondness for Resident Evil 4. He said he can't even count the number of times he's played that game. Instead of being obedient to the game's lore, Kreger said he is aiming to tell a story that feels authentic to the experience you get when you play the games. While Kreger is clearly a fan of the Resident Evil franchise and wants to tell an authentic story, he understands that no matter what I do, people are going to come for me online. So all I want to do is just make a really good movie and tell a story that's compelling. I know that I'm going to be happy with the movie, and hopefully other people will too, he said.
With all the CEOs that we've been getting that have been sending out absolutely awful messages, the I know I'm going to get hate, but I'm trying is such a breath of fresh air, which is strange to say.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm not a huge stickler for lore, right? I don't think movies that have a source material always need to stick specifically to the content that it's coming from or the
Hmm.
IP. Uh, because the medium is often different, the time frame in which you're trying to tell a story is going to be different as well. So you don't have hours of a game, you've got 90 minutes to tell this story. Now, if
Hmm.
it turns into like a rom-com, probably not my flavor of
A
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil rom com.
Just have Jill and Leon chasing each other over a field of flowers. Yeah. The liquor is in the background taking pictures. It's great.
Yeah.
They were meant to be together. But it sounds to me like he gets the game, he gets the feel of it. He's just going to tell a different story. And I guess I don't mind that. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't mind it at all. I always go back in situations like this when people are complaining about, well, it's not exactly the lore. Um, I go back to Harry Potter 1 and 2 when the movies were enslaved to the books, and those two movies were not good. The movies took a noticeable increase in quality starting with the third one when they said we're going to capture the essence of the book but not like every single story beat and every single like word of dialogue. It's much more important to capture the spirit of it, as long as, like he says, you're not violating any major rules, than it is to be a slave to what works in a video game but may not work in a different medium like a film.
I mean, if you really want to follow along, scene by scene, word by word, uh, TV shows that have 100 episodes, conceivably, those type of shows do a lot better. But I still don't mind when it deviates from it to just tell a story that's interesting. If it's interesting and it's fun, and there's going to be points at which I'm going to jump out of my seat and
Right.
or be emotionally involved in something, then cool. I'm totally cool with that. My example, and I know I'll get hate for this one, but I really liked Halo. I thought that was a really great job, and I know a lot of people had disagreements for some of the content as well as political things. Don't care. I just enjoyed it. It was a good experience. And it was kind of cool to see the Spartans interact and be more than just a robot. And it was kind of cool. And I liked it. So
I mean, I felt bad when people complained that they introduced sex scenes because Master Chief was not supposed to be a sexual being. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Did he keep the helmet on?
He should have during sex. I would
Oh,
have
but he
asked for that.
didn't? Okay. All right.
I think if you keep the helmet on, that's like keeping the socks on during sex too. Just
No, no, that's totally different. Socks are, and the helmet is like cool and sexy.
But in the
except
win-
when he gets too into it and knocks you out because he bangs it right into your face.
but
That's
I
a
mean,
hazard I'm willing to risk.
come on, in the wintertime when it's super cold out and you're like you threw off the covers because it's so hot underneath there and all of a sudden you start shivering while you're like, okay, I'm glad I kept my socks on. What if you're in the cabinet in the middle of the woods with like just a log, a wood fire heater to keep you warm, and that's it. You want to keep your socks on. Nice pair of full socks.
No.
Oh, let me guess. This is going to go on Twitter. Oh, Donnie likes to wear wool socks.
Donnie likes to wear wool socks during sex. Please comment.
Simon Esther says, me, Cabin, Master Chief, slow down, taking notes.
Yeah, I mean, at least Zach Kreger understands the situation he's in that there's literally nothing he can do. He is going to upset a good portion of Resident Evil fans who
Yep.
will not accept anything less than 100% accuracy to the lore, even if it's a really good movie otherwise. And let's be honest, the history of Resident Evil movies, there's no way, and I do realize that this could be jinxing it, there's no way this could be worse than the Resident Evil movies that have come before.
I've tried to watch the first one.
With the Mila Jovovich one,
They're all Mila
so
Jovovich.
bad. Yeah, but and then Netflix put out another one that was also bad.
I haven't seen
Super bad. Where
that
they
one.
made Leon like this sniveling, whining little wimp. I was like,
Oh.
oh my God, what did they do to my boy?
What have you done to my boy?
Hashtag not my Leon. It was so bad.
I didn't mind the first one. Then subsequently, the next couple of ones that came out, that's like, they're campy fun, but it's like, you don't take them seriously. So I
heard there was a lot of jump in the shark kind of moments.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like
There's
over
only
the top.
so many times you can jump the shark, and I think there's like 6 or 7 of them. I don't know. Mr. Blue owns the collection of them, like on DVD, and
Nice.
I think I may have watched through 3, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Resident Evil 5 straight to home video.
Pretty much.
So
Tegan85 says they made insane money in China.
if they deviate from the source material just a little bit, but they still have the core principles, the Umbrella Corporation, maybe Raccoon City, although you don't specifically have to state it there because there are other environments from the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And zombies, you have the zombies, you have the Umbrella Corporation, you have some of the core people like Chris and Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, whoever. As long as you have a sprinkling of those, I think you'll be fine.
They should turn the zombies into jilted fanboys, right? So they're running at you.
The bloodlust, though, would be far more. It would be off the charts. But like, adaptation 101 is to take plot points and characters that are a little bit redundant and combine them. So you could take Jill Valentine and combine her with somebody else, and you could skip a couple plot points, and that may be what he's referring to, because that's what classically is done when you're adapting a property. It's tough to know without having seen the movie. But the fact that he has played Resident Evil games and is a massive fan of Resident Evil 4, which is my favorite, controversially enough, you can shake your head all you want, but it didn't have tank controls. So you do that a lot. Are you frustrated? Ryan leans forward, eager for the answer.
There were a lot of games that had tank controls that were awesome. I'm not going to discount Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a good game. Okay, is it a great game? It's still good. The original GameCube version, I didn't care to it because it seemed kind of clunky with that controller. But like
No.
the remastered version looks great, looks amazing. The remastered versions of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Go ahead, Ryan.
Let's just say, need some fan service though. So all these movies need a little bit of fan service,
Of
just to
course.
kind of. So one is Jill Sandwich mention. Got to do that.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Second,
And the Netflix Resident Evil one said, "Oh, you're supposed to have a Jill sandwich." And it's like, really? That didn't work.
But
But that movie felt like it was just checking boxes of like, this is how we appease the fans. We have this
Mhm.
character and this character, and we say this line.
The
It didn't
second
feel
one
genuine.
needs to be that one character that you can't stand, but is on the good team, but just you get the feeling like they're going to betray everybody or do something like that. They're sitting on the dock of a big lake, and he just starts shooting into the water.
yeah.
1, 2,
Thanks, Pat.
3.
Thanks, Pat.
This big thing comes up, grabs him,
Yeah.
pulls him
And that scared the shit
That
out
was
of me
Moke.
in.
That
Was
wasn't
it
Pat,
Moke?
that was Moke.
I thought
Yeah.
it was Pat. Okay.
Nope, that was Moke. I was there, Gandalf.
Thanks, Moke.
And GoldenEye says, "Man, there's a lot of low-flying planes at Donnie's place."
What does that mean? Oh, is that the sound? You think is that the sound effect that I'm playing? Because it's in Among Us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a sound effect. Sorry.
All right, and last up, the UK Games Trade Body has moved to explain a BBC breakfast segment in which its CEO appeared alongside an erroneous retro game setup. UKIE CEO Professor Nick Poole, OBE, appeared on the British morning show, which has an average viewership of 6.5 million, to discuss the rising popularity of retro gaming in the UK. However, what attracted the most attention on social media was the setup of the retro consoles the CEO brought along to the BBC. Notably, the display prominently featured a Super Nintendo with an NES cartridge for Super Mario Brothers inserted into its game slot, somewhat undermining the retro credibility of the section. Following the broadcast, UKIE published an explanation for the mishap, claiming the wonky Nintendo setup was the fault of the BBC Breakfast studio team and not Poole. For transparency, the studio team set up the in-studio display independently and handled the placement of the consoles. Unfortunately, we couldn't adjust it whilst on air, a spokesperson said. However, many social media users criticized the mishap. "I want to report a crime," wrote one social media user who shared an image of the offending retro setup. "I bet they tried to cram it into the Wii first," added another. The BBC segment was intended to highlight the rising popularity of retro gaming in the UK. The UK has a 7.8 billion video games market, with retro titles playing a growing role in physical game sales and game culture events, according to UKIE.
Yeah. Epic fail. You had one job. One job. And you know what would have been worse if somebody would have tried to stuff like a Sega Genesis or a Mega Drive cart in the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom. Then they would have gotten hilariously roasted. At least this one, they're keeping it in the family, NES and SNES.
Only because it would fit.
Right? I mean, if it fits.
Doesn't fit, you must have quit. If it fits, I sit.
I mean, and it's interesting because Davey from our Discord said, "Oh, I'm going to try this for science," and then he posted a picture of Super Mario 3 in a Super Nintendo and said, "Oh, it actually fits pretty well." So, I mean, I have a couple questions about this. Is this the studio staff of BBC Breakfast taking a bullet for Professor Nick Poole? Because he didn't see that, because the wider shot is the game setup like 12 inches in front of the the media talent as they're having this discussion. So did he not see that from where he was sitting and say, that's not right, we need to fix it? Or did he just not know better? And this is BBC Breakfast staff taking a bullet for him.
Or,
I don't know.
like Simon says, I thought they were being deliberately dense in order to build engagement. Post the wrong answer and you'll get 1,000 people to correct you.
Which it's
Fair.
working because we're
Yeah,
talking about it.
absolutely.
I know. And then again, if Nick Poole is bringing a selection of retro things to put on display, I mean, you could bring a game that fits in the console you brought. That's not that difficult.
Yeah, I didn't see a Super Nintendo game on display. So there is a part of me that wonders, are we just trying to save face here? The other piece is that if it was set up by the studio staff, that tells me that they don't have anybody who is a millennial or Gen X on staff.
Oh, that's true.
Right, they would have looked at that and went, nope, that's wrong.
Yep.
Somebody's putting it together like, oh, they used to blow in these things or something.
Yeah. I mean, you could say it's splitting hairs, but then again, it's about as dumb as putting a cassette tape in a CD player.
If it fit,
Yeah. I'd say this is probably more equivalent to putting a cassette tape in an 8-track player.
Games with Coffee says nothing angers retro gamers more than inserting the wrong thing into the wrong hole. I know what I said.
Games of Coffee with the innuendos, that just gives me such a smile.
With the innuendos, yep. But at least video games are making an appearance now on morning breakfast shows, which are kind of like snooty, popular things.
So like Regis and Kathy Lee, I know they're not on the.
Yeah.
I know they're not on TV anymore, but it would be like.
That's kind of a dated reference, but yes, if Regis and Kathy Lee were discussing retro games, this is probably how it would go.
That show's so old that if they had a staffer who was under the age of 25, they still would have gotten it.
I think Regis and Kathy Lee probably would have called. It was like, what are you doing? You're putting a Nintendo game in a Super Nintendo system. Like, what's wrong with you?
You're putting a Super Nintendo game into a system. What's wrong with you?
Yes, that's what I wanted out of this segment. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you, Ryan.
Doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I do. Never mind.
He's doing our parts.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our top 3 new releases.
All right, first up is Eric Sholm. Sure. The Stolen Dream, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. Experience an isometric, narrative-driven stealth game and join Hannah's adventure in the vibrant city of Eric Sholm. The mysterious disappearance of her brother Herman ignites a chain of catastrophic events that forever change their lives and their fate of the entire city. Next up is Wandering Village for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The Wandering Village is a city building simulation game on the back of a giant wandering creature. Build your settlement and form a symbiotic relationship, with the Colossus. Will you survive together in this hostile yet beautiful post-apocalyptic world contaminated by poisonous plants? It's a question. Now, Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out for Switch 2. The big guy is back, and he's not alone. Explore a vast underground world with Donkey Kong and Pauline by smashing your way through it. With DK's brute force and Pauline's special singing abilities, you can crash through walls, carve tunnels with your fists, punch straight down into the ground, and even tear off chunks of terrain and swing them around and throw it into groundbreaking exploration. The more you smash, the more area opens to explore. So taking a look at these, Donaldo, what are we going with this week?
The more you smash, the more areas open up to explore. I like that. I like that. I really do. So first off, the Wandering Village. city building simulation. Yeah, I don't do sim games really anymore, so that's one's going to be out. I did take a look at the play for Eric Scholm, The Stolen Dream. I do like that isometric third, like overhead third person play style. It reminds me a lot of Shadowrun. And I love the visuals in this game. So I think that one is worth checking out. However, my pick this week would be Donkey Kong Bonanza. Bonanza. If I owned a Switch 2, which I do not, but
Hmm.
I've been looking forward to playing this game. I thought that this game looked incredible whenever I first saw it. I love the gameplay. It's about time that Donkey Kong had its own game like this again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching some people play Donkey Kong Bonanza and living vicariously through them.
Very cool. Blue, what about you?
So Games with Coffee in the chat points out that Fatal Labyrinth game is out this week too, the weird Pac-Man Metroidvania. And I would say that I considered putting that in the top three, but that's a Bandai Namco game, and I thought that maybe it would be nice to highlight a game from a small publisher that actually needed the attention. So that was ultimately just the deciding factor between Fatal Labyrinth and The Wandering Village.
I like the small developers.
The
Yeah.
small
You
developer.
probably never heard of them.
So Eric Scholm, The Stolen Dream. This is an interesting one because it looks like an isometric stealth game, but it's mixed up with really high quality but double A cutscenes. And it's kind of an interesting combo. I don't necessarily love stealth games enough that I want to play an entire game of it, but and that's something of the reviews I've heard of this is that it's great if you love stealth for an entire game, which I don't know that I do. But I still kind of appreciate what they're trying to do, and I'm not against it, but it's not my first choice. The Wandering Village looks like if Studio Ghibli decided to do a city builder. That's what the animation and the cutscene looks like. It looks like Studio Ghibli. So that and the early reviews of that one are really overwhelmingly positive. So that deserves some attention. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, the early review scores of that are also overwhelmingly like nines and tens. I'm I'm a little put off by this whole like singing is my power thing with Pauline that I can't help but roll my eyes at that. That does not appeal to me at all. But it looks like they put a lot of effort into making a really interesting world that encourages exploration, which is the kind of stuff that I love. So, of these three, I would probably pick Donkey Kong Bonanza first, Wandering Village second.
Nice. And just to correct you, it was Shadow Labyrinth, not Fatal Labyrinth.
Okay, well, then you're correcting Games with Coffee because that's what he typed in the chat.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anytime
yeah.
she can shift the blame to someone else. You know?
It wasn't me, it was that guy.
I
had nothing
swear,
to do
it
with it.
wasn't me.
It wasn't me. What about you, Donnie?
Yeah, what about you, Donnie?
Well, seeing as how I haven't voiced my opinion yet, no. What about you, Ryan? What are you?
Oh, I'm here? Am I here right now? Two things. She forgot I was here, and she forgot what you said.
Give me a break.
I don't know what's worse.
I mean, you guys kind of run together for me, so whatever.
Oh,
What?
run the train. Anyway, so as far as you know, city builders are concerned, like I've never been into that as far as anything is concerned. But I like the concept of this, something that moves as you go along. So I'd imagine that you would interact with different beings, different environments, and that kind of thing because of the fact that it moves. Variety is nice, especially when it comes to building games. It looks like, Harvest Moon or what's the other one? pick a village builder. Sega. Donnie?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to Games with Coffee. He's saying
Oh,
something
it's
about
like,
yeah.
you look like you were
Yeah.
pointing to the Sega above you. I was like, I don't think
Yeah,
Sega did
my
one of those
my
games.
Sega sign.
So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm definitely out on that one. Eric's Home, the Stolen Dream looks gorgeous. The atmosphere looks great. But I don't like stealth for a minute in a game. If it's the whole game, I am 100% out. I'm sorry, I just can't do stealth. I'm not good at it, and I get frustrated really quickly because I
Yeah.
just want to run through the game. Which leaves me with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Also, don't own a Switch 2, so can't pick this one up right away, but it looks super cool. I love that they've brought in some of the Donkey Kong Country aspects to it, in which you can utilize different animals. They're not mounts this time. You transform into those animals, but they're straight
Mounts.
pretty much from Donkey Kong Country, which I love. Love to see that Pauline and Donkey Kong are getting, they're friends now versus when he stole her. So, you know what? There's always hope. That's all I say. There's
Was it
always hope.
the Stockholm syndrome where you start to befriend your captor? So maybe this is what's happening with Pauline and Donkey Kong.
Just riding on his back, got Stockholm syndrome. Like, man, I really appreciate what he's doing for me.
Piggyback ride.
See, Webhead says, henceforth they are known as Donnie 1 and Donnie 2.
Donnie 1.
Why isn't it Ryan 1 and Ryan 2?
You get everything. You get all the
Aw.
cool names and stuff like that in the patron shout-outs. Let me have
Pouty
this.
face.
All right, fine.
It's true. Ryan has all the fans in the patron shout out.
It's the day after my birthday. Let me have this.
Okay, Donnie 1.
Thank you. Puzzle Better says, I hate it when dudes steal me. She must have been very forgiving.
If I had $1 for every time. Before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. Right now, they're ranking every game in the Metroid series. Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
I think it's time to go back and play Super Metroid. I never played it. I
was gonna say it's surprisingly good.
I know I know it's good. I've seen it played. I've played it for maybe 5 minutes or whatever, but I've never owned it, never sat down and made a conscious effort to complete the game.
See, and I feel like I should tell both of you that Zach said, by the way, if either of them say something along the lines of all the Metroid games are the worst, please kindly tell him that I said to get fucked.
Ooh,
if I can't be in the chat to do so myself.
All the Metroid games are the works because I want to get fucked.
By Zach specifically.
Don't judge me.
It wasn't.
But yeah, Super Metroid. The only thing I will say is that it is frustrating, and it's because it's where the fuck do I go? And there's secret rooms and all that kind of shit. But
the original Metroid.
Yeah, and that's something I think carries through to all the Metroids that are not Metroid Prime, the first-person Metroids. It's a hallmark of the series, and sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it.
You love it when you find something on your own,
right?
You hate it
feel
when
super smart,
right? And you hate it when you got to go to game facts to figure out what to do, and then realize that you have to backtrack, 25 minutes of worth of gameplay that you got to backtrack to find that one stupid thing that you got to use. Yeah.
Oh, that would piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I haven't played it.
I will say though that the boss battles are way more epic than the original Metroid, right? The atmosphere is very foreboding, and you feel it. Every room kind of has a different theme. Not every room, but a lot of different sections have different themes to it. And then the final boss battle is epic. So it's worth the price of admission, I will say.
Yeah, I would agree. Super Metroid is the king of the mountain, the king of the Metroid mountain.
And I understand, like Metroidvanias. Metroidvanias are one of my favorite genres to play. It's just early on, like back when Super Metroid came out, and even Metroid, it's like trying to play that game as a 10-year-old and not knowing like what the hell do I do? And you've got a limited help with the official Nintendo strategy guide. And it's like sometimes like the stuff wasn't like really communicated very well to a 10-year-old's brain, and I'm like, yeah, it's just like I give up on this shit.
And none of it's intuitive. Like all the secrets and stuff, 90% of them are not intuitive.
Yeah,
If you didn't know, you wouldn't go.
If you didn't know, you wouldn't go.
I like it.
That's right. I like to rhyme.
That belongs on a t-shirt.
Merch store.
Moich store.
Merch. And now it's time for the pause for effect. Very important poll. Every month we post our VIP, which is a very important poll. If you'd like to participate, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at GamersWeekPC. This month's question is, Final Fantasy turned 35 this year in North America. What would you consider to be the golden age of the series? 1 through 6 came in at 36.3%. Sorry. In the fourth slot, 14 through 16 came in at 2.5%. X through 13 got a whopping 6.3%. Coming in third, which is 1 through 6 at 36.3%. And taking the top spot, which is considered to be the golden age of Final Fantasy gaming, 7 through 9 with 55%. Now let's take a look at some of the comments from the poll. Chaotic Neutral Observer says, can I pick 4 through 8? No? Okay, I'll pick A, but only if you let me include Final Fantasy Tactics. Objections? Allow it?
No, I'll allow it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying no. I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
You're a hard ass.
So
We
I'm the
asked a
tiebreaker?
specific question. We said, these are the ones.
Almost
no adding,
nobody
subtracting.
answered without putting their own qualifiers.
And that's what makes me mad about the comment section on polls.
I didn't know you were such a rule enforcer.
I am a stickler. It says what it says. We didn't give a other comment option. These are not. This is it. You have to choose. Because I got to choose on the show. And I can't be like, well, if you add Dirge Cerebrus to this, does this count?
Right.
Nobody counts Sturgis.
I know, but the point being, as far as we're concerned, it has a specific thing that we are following, and we're going to stick to it.
Okay. Please continue, Donnie.
So, okay, in that regard, where does Final Fantasy Tactics fall into this?
At this moment, I don't care.
Well, then it's
Gaze's
1
Coffee
through
says,
6.
hey, I liked Dirge Cerberus.
Sarge Smash says, I'll roll 1 through 6. I get why folks would like 7 through 9, but my favorite of those is Final Fantasy 8. Is that right? Okay. I take Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 6 over it. Yeah? 4?
4.
Sorry.
4.
I'd take Final Fantasy 4 or Final Fantasy 6. I don't like those numbers over it. I also love the original
Stupid
and Final
Romans.
Fantasy 3. Even Final Fantasy 2 is as bad. Did you say stupid Romans?
Stupid Romans
Yeah.
and their numbers.
I'll take FFIV. Even Final Fantasy 2 isn't as bad as its reputation, quite good on Game Boy Advanced, and Final Fantasy 5 has loads of class chicanery, even if I don't love it. Final Fantasy 2, that was Super Nintendo, right? Or is that considered Final Fantasy 4?
No, I think what we're talking about here, though, is the one on NES, the 2, because there was 1, 2, and 3 on NES. There was 4,
and
5,
like Castlevania 2 and
What?
Zelda 2.
Was there?
It upset everyone.
There was a Final Fantasy 2 on NES?
Yeah, there's even a Final Fantasy 3.
I'm confused. Okay.
I believe, though, technically they were Famicom titles.
Well, see, you can't say that they were on the NES, though. You weren't able to play them here in the United States.
We didn't specifically ask for. We just said 1 through 6.
Well, I understand that, but you're saying that this whole thing was because it turned 35 in North America. So we're focusing on the North America.
If you had the was it the honeybee adapter?
She's got a point.
Or the I do. I've got Gyromite. I could play it.
See? Then what are you complaining about?
Well, okay? So Simon Asher says you could play 1 and 2 on Game Boy Advanced. I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance, but that didn't come out until much later. So anyway. Uh, Biggs WB says 4 through 9 for sure. 1 was a really good start. 3 was great at advancing on the formula. 4 through 6 are all around amazing, and 7 and 9 are also amazing. 6 and 9, giggity, being the peak of the era in my opinion. AOI says 7 through 9 because I was a teenager when those came out, and everyone remembers the stuff during that time in their life as the best. Though for the record, this only applies to 7 and 9 and Tactics. 8 was a horrible curse on gaming. I will not be taking questions. That is somebody saying something at the podium, saying like, blah, 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 blah. Nope, sorry, and that's it. I'm done. Oh, wait.
Mic drop.
Moko, boom. And Moko Atako says, I've yet to play a Final Fantasy game I didn't like. Although I'm sure I'll get there. Each of these has a golden title that I will fight for. And I can get behind that statement. So I'm going to let Ryan go last. Blue, what's your favorite series of Final Fantasy games from this list?
So I'm a little heartbroken that the third option, X through 13, didn't score better. And I'm going to blame 13 for that because I think 10 and 12 are the goats of the series. And then 13, everybody was just like, what the fuck is this nonsense? And I think that destroyed the vote. And I see Ryan has an opinion. He's so eager to share.
When you say the goat of the series, do you mean the whole series?
I do mean the whole series. That is that is the words that came out of my mouth. 10 and 12. That is my favorite. But the question is, what do you consider to be the golden age? And I do reluctantly have to agree with the majority in that 7 through 9 is the golden age because that is the age in which the series became popularized to the general audience and it was no longer a niche thing. 1 through 6 are fantastic titles. You can especially make an argument for 6, but it was still like kind of a nerdy thing. Like not everybody really played that game. 7 through 9 is when they gained mass appeal, and without 7 through 9 we don't have 10 and 12. So that is my vote. The golden age is 7 through 9.
Okay. I like that opinion. Ryan? Lay it on me.
I'm highly offended that we said 10 and 12 are the best of the series. But I will try to quell the uprising rage from that.
I appreciate your quelling.
This to me is a super hard choice. So I have 2 favorites out of the first 2 for each of those years or those sections, right? So 1 through 6, 4 and 6 to me are some of my favorite games, or 2 and 3 if we're dealing with North American titles. 4 I think is super underrated. It's really really well done. The story itself maybe isn't as strong, but it consistently is a fun game and it's interesting and there's a lot of plot twists and I like it. 6 is fantastic. I mean, to me, that is probably the best Final Fantasy game that's ever made. Was 6, from a musical perspective, from a gameplay perspective, from a story perspective, uh, all tied in perfectly. It's if you want to put it out there, it is probably within my top 5 games of all time, right? And the only other RPG that I like more than that one is Chrono Trigger, and that's it. That being said, 7 is the one that really got me into RPGs. And I have a special affinity for it. Just recently beat it. Yep. Played
For
it.
like the 17th time?
The game, right?
Way more than, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you must know,
Figures
that's
I
what
am.
I was doing before the show started.
Ooh.
But it's and it's way more than 17. It's a game that has a lot of side plots and stuff that are fun and entertaining. And actually, this last time I played through it was the first time that I had ever beaten uh, Emerald and Ruby Weapon, which are the two hardest bosses in the game. So very proud of myself for that. But that took way longer than I really wanted to admit, but I did it. Um, 9 is an absolute gem. It is such a love letter to the, 6 and 4 era of Final Fantasy and it does it extremely well. And Vivi is probably one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy series whatsoever. Um, really, really like his storyline, and it's very relatable in that sense. Um, haven't really dove into Final Fantasy after that, so watch people play 10. It's okay. Um, I can see why people enjoy it. Isn't it the last turn based though?
It's the last turn based. I feel like you wouldn't have such an attitude about it if you actually put some effort into it.
Actually.
I just don't want to play Blitzball.
Well,
And Blitzball sucks.
I can't blame you there. It fucking sucks.
So X2 is turn based.
Mm. Well, once again, when we talk about the power of singing, that's where I was like, nope.
So this one I'm struggling with, honestly, and I'm having a hard time putting my finger down to it. I said to myself, I'm not going to make a choice until I get on the podcast, but I'm still struggling coming up with an answer for that one.
Well, you
I'm
don't
going to go
have to
again with the
decide.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the majority though. I think 7 and 9 would be considered the quote unquote golden era.
Yeah.
And really, us looking at that too is saying that there was an explosion of people playing it. I mean, that's very West viewpoint of RPGs and what have you. Um, what I like about 7 through 9 is that it picked up the slack from what I think the Dragon Quest series was starting to kind of not necessarily tailor off, but the original Dragon Quests, especially on the NES, were really good. And then as they went into like 7 or 6 and 7, um, maybe not as groundbreaking as what was going on with Final Fantasy at the time. So
Hmm.
to me, at least, it seems like perfect timing for it to explode, to be that one thing that people enjoyed. And I don't think that RPGs from Square would have been as huge as what they saw when 7 dropped. 7 was the gateway drug, if you will, to RPGs. So
Yeah.
got to give credit
And
where credit's due.
and you're not wrong. I mean, it's a sacrifice for me to vote that way because personally, I hate 7. I hate it so much. I know.
Oh.
I know. I have tried so many times to play it, and I just don't give a fuck about Cloud and everything that's going on with him. And it's been so much overkill about 7. So I understand why people love it, but just personally for me, I was like, if we could just move on past 7, because there's so many other games.
Then there's the edgy teenage angst of Final Fantasy VIII.
I chose not to bring up Final Fantasy VIII for purposes.
Hey, you're the best looking guy here, so.
I know.
Wait, what? Hey!
And Games with Coffee says, that's okay, Blue. We're still friends. I thank you for that.
Oh, Doongie Forever says 7 is not for simple people.
Simple Jack.
That's okay, Doongie. I can take that criticism. I just need a little bit more than just Cloud. I find Cloud
You have
so annoying.
Sephiroth. You have what's the vampire?
Vincent?
Vincent. Yeah. Come on, he's a freaking vampire. That's what you goths love.
Normally,
He is
yes.
super emo. He is
Yeah.
super
I would
super
agree
emo.
with you. Just too much. It's just too much for me.
So
So if I
Donnie,
say, yeah. What about you, Tommy?
um, so my experience with Final Fantasy was 1 on the NES, 2 on the Super Nintendo, and then 3 on the Super Nintendo. And I thought 3 was like, I like 2, I love, where's Mystic Quest? Mystic Quest isn't even in here. I love Mystic
Nobody
Quest.
likes Mystic Quest except for you.
I like Mystic Quest. I think the originals, they set the foundation, right? They reeled people in, and I was a role playing game junkie for the longest time. I loved role playing games, and then once I saw Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 2, Mystic Quest, and all that stuff. Loved those on the Super Nintendo. Loved the JRPGs from Super Nintendo. You've got Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Illusion of Gaia, all those. Loved them. Absolutely loved them. And then you started seeing the cinematics for Final Fantasy 7 when PlayStation was advertising that game was being hyped up. EGM and GamePro were calling it the best Final Fantasy ever. And I don't know if that still holds true, but when I got my hands on this game, yeah, you still have it's not like it was with the sprites in the regular Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. It was 3D polygons. You get to walk into a 3D world. Okay, this is cooler. I'm in this environment. I'm going up and down and around, and I get to explore all these different places. And the cutscenes. Oh my god! Like that's what drew me in, and that was a time when I actually liked sitting down and watching like a 10-minute cutscene. Like, oh, I can take a break. All right, yeah. Like, and this just drew me in, just like a real movie. So I would tend to agree with people that 7 through 9 was the golden age, although I didn't care too much for 8 because I was so heavily invested in the characters from Final Fantasy 7 that I could not move on to 8. Once I started playing 8, the system for the materia was different. I think there was was there a card game in there or something like that?
There is a card game in that one, yeah.
A card game, and just I like Squall and this other dude, the two teenage boys fighting. I couldn't get into it. And then 9 was a throwback, like you said, to the original where you had the mages and the different classes and stuff like that. I liked it. I never played 9 though. Loved playing 10. 10 was great. Loved the action in that. Hated Blitzball, but loved the soundtrack. Loved the fights in 10. But I never went to play X2 or 13 or anything like that. So it's like, I think I liked most of the games on the 1 through 6 option. I liked one game in the 7 through 9 option and one game on the X through 13. But I think what 7 through 9 did for bringing people in to the Final Fantasy universe, I think that one takes the cake.
What I find hilarious is that nobody is arguing that 14 through 16 belongs at 2.5.
Isn't the most recent one an MMO?
No,
that's 15, right?
No, that's 14 is
That's
the ongoing
14.
MMO, and in many ways one of the things that's still keeping Square Enix above water. But 15 and 16 just both fucking sucked.
Which one's the one with the ramen noodles?
That's 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for listening to episode 174 of Gamers Week podcast, and a big thank you to the Retro Game Club podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pawn Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week podcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Time. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com, or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of this episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice.
I think I'm going to pick a Final Fantasy game. And actually, I played 7. I've beaten 7. 7 is not a game where I feel like I need to go back and play it and revisit it because I've done that. So I think out of 9, 10, and 3, I've never beaten 3. Out of those 3 games, and I've never beaten any one of those 3 games, I'd like to sit down and beat at least one of them. So
I
I
would
think you should do
recommend
9.
6.
Okay.
6, 9. All right.
Eh, we're always on the same page.
Or you
Totally
just
on
do
the same
both
page. At the same time?
at the same time. That's what 6-9's all about.
You know what I do, man? 2 Final Fantasy games at the same time, man. I don't think I could play several Final Fantasy games at the same time. Like play an hour at one, an hour in the next, and an hour in the next. I probably would get so confused. But I
Mhm.
think my goal is to sit down and play one of those games and actually complete it. And I think it's
Well,
something I could do along with like another action game or whatever that comes out.
I will play 10 then while you play one of those.
Ooh.
For the record, you only have to play like 2 Blitzball games. They suck, but you can get through them. It doesn't matter if you lose.
Oh, so it has no contingency as to like the rest of this. But I would imagine you get something cool if you win, right?
If you play like hours and hours and hours of Blitzball, you can get the legendary weapon for Waka. I personally never bothered with it.
Waka waka waka.
Yeah.
All
Huh.
right. All right.
hmm
I mean, and now all you have to do is just look at gameplay, or how do I get how to be a badass at Blitzball. Is there such a thing?
Yeah. Some
Is
people really like it.
I wonder if
I'm
there's
not
a
sure what's
streamer.
wrong with them, but
Do you think there's a streamer out there who just plays Blitzball and
yeah.
streams it and that's it?
Yeah.
We should look it up. We should raid them.
That's gonna do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will be back next week, and like I said, please, at any point in the broadcast where you see something that's funny that you think it's funny, go ahead and clip that for us. We are trying to put a lot more videos out there on social media to get more people to come in and chat with us and hang out and do all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.